All right, so we're at the point here where we gotta do the finish on this guitar. I was really kind of stressing over how I wanted to do this because the wood's so nice. I wanted to do a finish that accentuates the grain and does justice to the guitar itself. And I was all set on how I was going to do it. I was going to get a stain and varnish and all that kind of stuff. And then I dropped it on a concrete floor and I put a dent in it here and here and a couple other spots. So my original intention was to do a relic kind of finish on this thing, and then when I saw the finish here, I thought, no, I can't. That's not, doesn't do it justice. But now that I've kind of begun the relic process unintentionally, I'm going to carry on with my original intention on doing the finish. Now, I've got two tribute guitars that go with my cars. Okay, I've got this green one. This is my Strat, and I had this pinstripe, and it goes with my 1965 Beaumont Sport Deluxe, which I've owned since 1995 or 96. Then I have the blue one. Okay, so this is my blue Araya. This is the one I did the tremolo block upgrade on and put locking tuners on it. Pinstripe by the same guy. Cool Cats is what he's called. His handle on the pinstriping. And this goes with my 1983 Pontiac Parisienne 4-door. I call it a bingo car, but it's got a 400 horse 350 dual carb cam, dual carb hydraulic roller cam, comp thumper cam, 342 gears, true track stuff. It's a nice car. It's it's a fun car to drive, and it's got air conditioning and it works. My third car, which is my hot rod that I tend to drive the most, is between the Pontiac and the third one, which is this one, which is the 1979 Camaro. And I've owned this car since 2008. I paid $200 for it and a camshaft. One of my mechanics at the time was going to take this car and turn it into an oval track racer. It was a 4-speed. It had a blown up 350 in it. And I said, there's no way in hell are you going to wreck this car. So he needed a camshaft to build an engine for a race car that he was already running, and I had one that he needed, and I gave him $200 just for the hell of it, and we had a deal. So since then, I put a 427 small block. I started with a 383, 400 horse 383, then a 535 horse 383 with a tunnel ram, big cam. And then finally bit the bullet and built a 427 small block with SHP block, Eagle rotating assembly, tunnel ram, big solid roller comp cam in it, and makes 660 horse at 6,300 RPM. EFR 210 heads, lots of good stuff in it. So that's what this car is going to be. And this one is flat block. It's actually chalk block paint. It's got a flame job on it that we patinaed, or we added a patina to it. The guy that did the flame job for me was all proud of his job, and I says, okay, great, now we gotta make it look like it's been on here for 25 years. So we got the Scotch-Brite pads out and started rubbing it down and rubbing through the paint and giving it some age and getting the sheen off the paint and all that kind of stuff. So that's what this guitar is going to be. I went out and I got some flat black Tremclad paint, rust paint, but it's going on the wood. I've got yellow, gloss yellow, and gloss red. I believe, yes, gloss red. So the first layer that's going to go down on this is yellow. It's going to be for the flame. I'll job on the Camaro, kind of mimic that. So the yellow, then I'm going to put the red down, then I'm going to put the black down. Then we're going to put some wear to it. So we'll sand this down to kind of get through the red and into the yellow. Around here a little bit. Wear that down around the horns on the body, down around the sides and all that kind of stuff. So that's my intention. And then on the back, kind of where the belt buckle is, we'll wear that out. That's my intention. I have no idea how it's going to turn out or how it's going to work, but that's kind of the plan. So stay with me, and we'll learn how to do this together. Okay, so I've got all my guitar strip down here. Paintbrush, yellow paint. So we're going to start. I'm not going to paint in here because I don't need to, but I will paint here. We'll paint there. Nothing in here. Then what I'm going to do is when I'm done that, I'm going to flip it over on a stand here, and then I'll paint the other side, but we'll get this side going here first. Let's see what it looks like. So trim clad paint, I got some cheap paint brushes. I have no intention of keeping these. Let's see how it goes on. This is stinky paint, so I might get some complaints from my wife on this. Probably have to do 2 coats to get a good, well, considering this is going to be a covered, I think probably 1 coat will do the trick, but it's pretty streaky. So, pretty straightforward process here. I am gonna shut her down now. I'll finish this off and we'll let it dry, and then we'll go with the red coat. So, catch up in a bit. So, got the back, doing the back here. This coat isn't critical because I'm going to be covering this with red and then black, but I'm just kind of going to use this as a somewhat of a primer coat. And I have a feeling it's just going to be 1 coat a day. I don't know how long this is going to take to dry, but this is probably all I'm going to get on here today. Maybe get the red on here. Just kind of sitting on top of a plastic jar a little precariously, but kind of liking the yellow, to be honest with you. So again, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's just get it coated because we're going to be covering it and then sanding through it. This falls off here, I'm in big trouble because I'm going to be covered in paint. Okay, so that pretty much gives me what I need. Now again, I'm winging it, but I don't know how this is going to look, but this is kind of where we're at. So when that's dry, I'll sand that down. I'll give it a coat of red. I already got paint on me here. Wonderful. There, you'll never notice. This is going to go red, and then sand it down, do red, and then a final coat of the flat black. Then we might do a finish on top of that, because what I use with the Camaro is I put linseed oil on the paint to bring the color out, and I might just do that on this, depending on how it looks. Store your wet brushes in Ziploc baggies here. That way you don't have to clean them if you need them again, and they'll stay moist, they'll stay flexible. And we'll cover this. And yeah, it's going to be it for this color, and then we'll carry on here with the red application. Okay, so got about a couple hours of drying time here. We'll see what, it's still tacky, so we're not going to do anything. I'll let it sit overnight. It looks not too bad like that. I'll let it sit overnight, and then we'll give it another coat tomorrow morning of the red. Sand it down and then give it some red. All right, so this is dry. Basically, I had to dry overnight. That's kind of what it looks like. It's got a good shine. I'd prefer to have had flat black. That way you don't have to sand it or do anything, but they didn't have any. So I'm going to sand this down, take the sheen off it. It's basically a light sand, and then we're going to paint it red. So it doesn't take much. And if it causes paint to flake a bit, well, I don't really care, because I want this guitar to look a little on the rougher side. It is durable, so rubbing through, sanding through this 3 layers is going to be a bit of a chore. I'm just using very light sandpaper. Got some runs in there, but that's okay. This kind of I'm going to use 120 here. It's a little easier, a little quicker. Okay, so that'll do the trick. Get the dust off it here, and then we'll get the red paint. So here's the red paint, which is Fire Engine Red. Give it a bit of a shake. Get my gloves on. So again, cheap paintbrushes. I have no intention of keeping these, but kind of bought them for this purpose here. So I'll give this side a start here. All right, so I got the top part painted. Now I am going to, because I got some rings and witness marks from the can I was using here to set this, and I'm going to hang this by a wire, and you just follow along here. Hang this from here. And we'll move this guitar out of the way. There. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm in the way. So anyhow, what I'm going to do is I'll spin this around, paint the rest of it, and then let it sit there and hang to dry. So we'll catch up when I'm done there and see the second part of the process. Okay, I'm almost done. So I'm just grabbing it between the cutout for the pick guard and the cutout for the jack. So the nice thing about doing one of these kit guitars is you can do whatever the hell you want. You don't have to follow any kind of decorum or whatever. You do whatever you want, which is what I'm doing, obviously. So that's it. I think I got should be good. There we go. Next is gonna be flat black. So I'm gonna let that dry. It'll probably take a day to dry. It took overnight. It's kind of cool down here where I'm at in the basement, so it takes a little longer. But we'll just let it hang there, dry, and get the flat black on her. The next step. Then the fun starts. All right. Well, one thing you need to know if you're going to be painting with Tremclad, and that is the paint stinks. And I painted this a week ago, and it still has a pretty good solvent smell to it. My wife is very sensitive to that kind of stuff and is begging me not to put another coat on this thing. So I'm going to paint it, put the final coat when it's warmer outside and I can do it outside. In the meantime, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to want to play this thing because it kind of sounded good when I initially put it together. But I'm going to put this together, string it up, and have some fun with it. So it's going to be a really ugly looking red guitar with some yellow coming through. I've just got some glass cleaner here. I sanded this down. I got some Scotch-Brite like this, and I sanded it down for the final coat, but it's just too stinky. Plus we have grandkids coming over tonight, and they're kind of sensitive to stinky stuff, so I don't want to stink the house up. It literally stunk the house up pretty good, so I'm gonna be a good husband this time and do this so my wife doesn't get upset with me. A happy wife is a happy life. And looks like I got some on the neck here. I want to buy a motorcycle this summer, so the less I upset her with this stuff, the better chance I can sneak a motorcycle in and get away with it. Well, probably not, but anyhow, you can see the residue. I think I got it all off. Pretty much. Okay, that'll be good for now. Okay, so I'm going to start with the electronics here. I'm going to start with the electronics, get the pick guard on. Actually, get this in here first. Put this thing together and make it play. Okay, these are all plug and play, which is nice. No no soldering. Of course, the hole they drill is barely big enough to fit this through. So, okay, there we go. You know, I went and put all my tools away, and now I gotta find stuff that. There we go. This will probably help a little bit. So it's on an angle. There we go. Okay, so that's in. Let's put some screws in here. So if I used regular latex house paint, that would have done the trick too, but I kind of want the trim clad kind of finish on it. Which with even a glossy house paint isn't, and even, I mean, I'm going to paint this flat black, so I guess it doesn't really, ultimately doesn't matter, but kind of like the, I guess the durability, if nothing else. Okay, now, I said earlier that this is the ground wire. Okay, now I'm gonna solder that. So I got a clean connection. That's gonna come up through here and into there, and then it sits with the bridge on top. So I'm gonna shut her down. Gonna get this thing soldered up. It's gonna take a few minutes to heat up the soldering gun. Gotta find my solder. I got a bit of a mess going on here. Nope. Yep, there it is right there. Okay, so we'll catch up here in a little bit. The other thing is I ordered a humbucker pickup for my Telecaster that I built in a previous video. So I might, depending on how that humbucker sounds or how this sounds, if I like the sound of this, I'm going to leave it here. It's got a kind of a cheaper, but it sounded cheaper pickup, but it sounded really good when I initially hooked it up, got it playing. So I might wind up swapping this out anyhow and putting this in the Telecaster. It just depends on which one I'm going to find I'm going to be playing more. But I like my Telecaster, so if the humbucker sounds better than the Telecaster, then I'm going to go with that. The pickups in there now are a little too glossy, like a little too, and the way I have my foot pedals set up, I have like a Fender 4 switch foot pedal, 4 or 5 switches on there. It's set up for humbuckers, and it just doesn't sound right with single coil, and I don't want to go in and redo everything. So I want to keep, that's why I want, it's easier to just put a humbucker in there than it is to reset, because all my other guitars I play with, they're all humbuckers. So I'm going to wind up going that route. But anyhow, I'm going to get this soldered up, and we'll catch up here in a few minutes. Okay, soldering gun here, or soldering iron, is pretty much ready. I'm going to screw this in, get this done, then we'll solder this. If I had soldered this prior to feeding it through, I don't think it would have fit, because it's a pretty tight, pretty small hole there. Make sure there's no plastic sitting on here. There is. Get this off of here. Okay. So get this cleared off. This is the best part of a new guitar, is peeling this plastic off. Okay. All right, so I'll leave that knob off for now. We'll just kind of get these in. In the meantime, while I was waiting for that to heat up, I put my tuners on the neck, maximizing time and efficiency. Oops. Almost there. So the other thing is, on the neck, I was going to paint it flat black and do something here, but because I'm not painting, so I just put some more of that gun stock finish, the stuff here. I put some of that on it just to give it a coat, protect it, seal it. And one more screw in here somewhere. There it is. It's amazing when you don't lose anything. It's odd when you don't lose anything. Okay, let's put these in. Again, these don't have to be super tight. They're not going anywhere. Okay. Might have to do something with this. All right, so now we can get this here. I'm just going to clean that off. Like I It's just easier if I load this up. And then there we go. There. All right, that's good. I can unplug it this time. Last time I didn't unplug it and it burnt through plastic container I had. Oh, there we go. All right, so this, one more. See that there? I splashed some solder on there, so I'm just going to leave it because this is going to be a beater guitar, so I don't really care. If you've seen my pictures of my Camaro, which I have earlier, it's a beater kind of looking guitar. It's a cool looking guitar, but it's the worse it looks, the better. My wife always says when I drive my Beaumont, I get nice smiles from the pretty ladies, and when I drive my Camaro, I get nice smiles from the toothless ladies. I don't know who's more fun. I'm thinking the toothless ladies. Okay, so get that started there, and I'll. It's tight. Two more. One here. There we go. Okay, that's solid. So that kind of like I might splash a little bit more on here. That's it. Got to put the neck on it now. All right. Oh, another screw loose. Okay, do the touchy-feely. Okay, so that's all good. So it's amazing how fast these things come together. They're like they're basic kits. This one here is easy. I mean, there's only one wire and plug, but it's very, very simple, very straightforward. The only real time you're spending on this is on the neck and doing the frets, and we did that earlier. You know, eventually I might change the nut out. I mean, it's just got a cheap plastic nut in there, but honestly I don't think it's going to matter too much. What I did notice is when I treated the fingerboard here, where I was sanding here and polishing, I scratched up the fingerboard down here because I didn't have tape small enough to fit between the frets. Next time I do that, you can see it kind of if you're really looking. The next time I do it, I'm gonna get proper tape and I'm gonna cover them, so it does make a difference, but it's very minor. And then once you're playing and you're bending and sliding and making marks, all that, it'll eventually work. It won't present itself anymore. I got another solder there. All right, I'm cool. I like it. That fits in nice. Now, okay, so let's flip this over. We'll actually put, it's one of the things I'm going to do with this is use that as a, actually I got even better, which I forgot. It's been about a week since I've been down here. This, that's my, that pick guard came with that. Gonna do something with that too, but not today. So do a quick need a spacer of some sort here to, no, it'll be all right. Okay. Again, I'm going to do this in a crisscross pattern. I'm going to snug it down with a screwdriver. This is just to get it in. Okay. Get it tangled up here. What do you figure? So having a good workspace helps. This could be good, but I just got so much junk. See, I got practice with my band tomorrow, and I really want to bring this. I'm going to bring my other guitar too, but see how this, I forgot to use this. I just noticed that. That's that copper. I'm not going to sweat that. When I do repaint, then I'll do that finished stuff on there. So now, we're just ready to string it. And I've got my Fender 9s, so it's 9 to 42. These are bullet ends. I use this in my other, my Telecaster. These are the strings that I do like to use. I like the, I don't know, they just got a nice sound and they feel right. They don't feel cheap. And they're not that much more money than anything else. Okay, so I'm gonna do this and then we'll catch up a little bit later. I got one black screw here. I don't know what it's for. It's probably for another project. I got 6. Okay, so I got to get my ferrules. Okay, that, and then when I'm done here, I got to put the trees on it, the string trees, and all right. So I'm going to do the low E. Just gonna do a quick demo on the string, a little walking tuner. So first you want to get it so that the string hole is straight through. At least that's what I like to do, because you're not feeding it. You're trying to work your way around. You back this off. Now, this is all this is. There's a pin, and that just locks against the string on the top of the tuner here. So there's nothing super fancy. Let's see. Why won't that go in? There we go. Okay. So all you do is you run it through. Okay, now I like to, just got to get my wrench here, wrench pliers. I just like to string it a little tighter, put some tension on it so that you're not tuning, going forever trying to tune it. So you're just kind of doing a pre-stretch. So I just bend that against. So as soon as you get some tone out of it, then you just tighten that screw up, tight as you can get it, and that's it. Done. Now I bend these 90 or 180 degrees or whatever I can get out of them, just to kind of help lock them in. So that's it. I'm going to go and do these, and when I get to the E string here, I'll show you what I do with that, because that can be a little tricky. All right, catch up in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm just getting ready to do the E string here. It's just a couple little things. So anyhow, these bullet strings are this is what they mean. Okay, instead of the round knobs there. So essentially, this bullet fits nice in the ferrule here. So I've just thread it through the ferrule, and we'll just pull it through. Press that in. You can see how they settle in there nice. So on the unwound strings, especially the E and the B string, the G string's not too bad. I don't know where it's just idiosyncrasy of these, or specific to these tuners. These are Musically. That's what these are. I don't know whether there's other brands that does the same thing, but what I find is that there's not enough bite on that pin on the string to hold it and keep it in tune. So on the B and the D, B and the E string, I thread it through. I'll just move this over here a bit. So I'll thread it through, and then I'll loop it around. I'm not going to put any extra tension on the string, but I'll loop it through again just to kind of tie it in there and lock it, and then I'll set tighten it up here. Then that tends to give it a better purchase on the string. So now I'm going to put the trees on here, and I guess you want to do these first. I can back these off a bit. These are a little tight, but it should be all right. And those two there, and then we'll get that done. We'll tune her up. Then we're ready to rock and roll. So don't go away. Be back real soon. Okay, so the string trees, there's two, and 1, 2, and different size bushings. Okay, one's a little bushing there. You can see that, and this is the bigger one. So the bigger one will go on the the D and the G string, and then the shorter one will go on the E and the B string. So real easy. Just stack them up here. We'll do the 2 top strings here first. It's probably a little easier when it's not strung, but we'll make it work. There we go. So you don't just go underneath the string, and then we'll thread them up through. One more turn, like that. Press the string in, like that. You want it as straight as possible. And then we'll do the B and the E. And we'll tune her up and see how it sounds. It's like when you're building an engine or doing a modification on your engine, you got it all apart and you go put it back together. And you hit that key to start it, and you get that dry mouth, and is it going to go? And you crank it, the thing turns over and lights up. It's the same feeling you have when you're building a guitar like this. Did I do everything right? Is it gonna work? You never know until you get that thing plugged in, and it is an awfully good feeling. Okay, so this has got a different bevel to it. So what I'm going to do is spin it around. It's a little deeper on the one side, so I'm going to spin it around to get it on the, and that's just by fluke that I noticed that. And that might be a manufacturing defect, who knows. But it should hold the E string down a little better. Okay. Get the E string under there. Okay. Get that straight. Okay, so now I'm going to tune it up, and we'll see what happens. I got a bunch of different knobs here. Maybe I'll use that. I got that one, I got a black one, and I got a gold one. So I don't think the gold will work. Red, it's kind of okay. It's already a lot of red. I'm going to use the black one because it kind of goes with the pickups here. And these are just screw tight, so I'll get that. So okay, we'll get this thing tuned up, and we'll see how it sounds here in a few minutes. So sounds like it's got a wah-wah on there. Well, the the neck feels nice. $130 guitar, 30 bucks for the tuners. What else did I do? That's it. Put that black knob on there. Looks like crap. Happy with it. These off, obviously. One thing is, don't go and cut everything off just in case you got a problem. So I did have a problem. Well, not really, but I had no volume when I went to initially tune, but I just didn't give it enough tension on the strings to actually get some sound out of it for the pickups to actually activate. So I tried it on another guitar, making sure that it wasn't my equipment here, because I'm using a remote jack here system. So I make sure it's not that. It did work on another guitar, so then I just tightened up the strings a bit and it started working. And it's good to go. Let's just see here. Let me get my... gain and overdrive. That's what I do. That's what I kind of, when I do a solo, I use that. But yeah, what the hell? I like it. The neck feels really nice. I'm really happy with the frets job I did. The strings are staying where they should be. Obviously, I'm going to have to tune these here, you know, numerous times here to get it once the strings settle in. But that's it. So for now, this is a completed project. We will reconvene on this guitar. I got other projects we're going to catch up on, but we'll reconvene on this one when I do the final black finish. But I've got the wear marks on there, and you know, I got a little bit of a fender bender with my Camaro and then tore my front bumper, and I fixed it with some masking tape. So I'm just gonna, out of that, put some masking tape on here, and yeah, good deal. I think I'm gonna like it. We'll give it a shot tomorrow when I play my band, and we'll see whether it's a reusable, doable guitar. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate, you know, spending time. I know it's a little tedious sometimes, but whatever. It's always something to learn, and I learn as I go. And yeah, so we'll catch up in the next episode, and that'll probably be putting the humbucker in the Telecaster once that shows up. I'm kind of liking the sound of this, but I gotta hear what it sounds like with the PA system that we use with the band. We'll see how that works. But I'm gonna leave it as is for now. I'm gonna do some string tension, or set the action. It's a little high, so I'm gonna tone that down a little and retune her up, and yeah, call it a day. So Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, like it, share it, do whatever. Appreciate everything. Thank you.